Well, we all know life isn't a bowl full of cherries, and sometimes when it throws you a curveball, I like to have a sit-down chat with my friend Jaime Mann, who helps me navigate through all of life's messes. Anti-stress, tea from Egypt.
Very herby and really good. This is from Egypt? Oh, I'm lucky.
Yes. Anti-stress.
Okay.
Anti-stress. I've been drinking a lot of this. In the last, it's been day 6 now of my husband coming home from bilateral knee surgery. And yes, being empathetic, both knees, being self-aware, he can't move. That really, Jamie, my stress level is
probably.
Okay, so, and it's just, the little things, and it'll pass, shut up, whatever. But, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like filling up the ice thing, and I hear this, so the pills,
all over
the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So, shouting, why did you do that? I said, I didn't do it. You're the one taking this medication. You put on the pill box or the lid or whatever.
Right.
So there I am, scooping up all the pills, and all I want to do is go back to bed. And then I got back to bed and I was laying there and I was thinking, okay, so what should have I said? Because obviously something caused me to do this. But,
you're a very supportive partner, first of all.
Oh, thank you. A gold star for me. Do I get money?
Gold star.
Oh, yeah.
Stress is funny, right? I think lots of people, what I'm seeing, even just coming at it from a workplace perspective, there's so many people that have all sorts of other responsibilities right now, specifically with caring for elderly parents.
Oh,
so you've got people in the workplace, they might have kids, they've got elderly parents with illness, you've got family members who have knee surgery, right? So stress is a huge thing, and there's tons of research on, burnout.
Yes.
And tons of work being done as far as how do we, since we're at work 40 to 60 hours a week or whatever it is, how do we make that experience better? Less stressful, because there's always going to be stress.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of work there on how do we build resiliency? How do we manage stress? And one of the things that I sort of start with people is exploring I like thinking about it like low-hanging fruit. What's the biggest opportunity you can grab easily? So I kind of like thinking about what are the specific situations or instances that you, maybe not all the time, but pretty consistently feel challenged to manage. So sometimes people talk about what's your trigger? Do you have triggers, right?
Yeah.
Because those are something that are generally kind of a learned habitual response. And if those happen a couple times a week or whatever it is, and we can tweak that, that's a huge opportunity to reduce stress and properly react or respond, I should say, rather than react.
Yeah.
And so what I see with lots of people is things that change. Change is a trigger because that's fearful. It's the unknown. Sometimes people are really challenged because it feels like a loss of control, right?
Right.
And when some people need more control than others, but generally that's something humans like. We like to have some control over our surroundings and our life. And so change can be something that is good to explore, because how do we get to a place where instead of having that habit response of, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? That I can't do this. Oh my God. And you freak out and you can't think. And so how do we take that and get it to a place where you go, whew, okay, well, here's one of those crazy things I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
What can I do right now? right? And to be able to access like the higher level thinking. Because triggers are kind of problematic in the sense that when we get that big emotion, whether it's anger or sadness, or we feel that defensiveness, right?
Yeah.
We literally lose access to our kind of critical thinking skills. So those higher level reasoning abilities and cognitive abilities, we literally cannot access. So that's why sometimes when we get into heated conversations, they just go nowhere good really fast. Because even if, sometimes if I work with leaders and they're really struggling to have this kind of conversation with somebody, and they feel, like they're right, or, like I'm going to show them, I'm like, let's dial that back. Because even if you have a plan, you literally plan out what you're going to say and you practice it. If you're stuck in those trigger emotions, you cannot follow it. No. You cannot. It's like you're a different person. So knowing what your triggers are first is key, because what is the plan to now respond differently?
And so, like, what are triggers?
Well, triggers, like I say, things that change. That's a big one. But the ones that I see regularly are things like getting feedback. Getting feedback can be a big trigger for people. I know even in my own experience, like for years, I remember whether it was mean feedback, whether it was kind, constructive feedback, the feeling in my body was the same. It was like scared, literally wanting to run away. Like I just couldn't make sense of it in a way that was productive, which was no good for me.
No.
Because, without the ability to reflect on the feedback, decide what you're going to take and what you're going to leave, there's no way for you to move forward with it. And so feedback was something I personally worked on. So if somebody is feeling that way also, like, oh my God, defensive, I feel horrible after any feedback. And that would be even if you said, hey, Jamie, your presentation was so good. The clients loved it and they want a second proposal from us. Next time though, maybe spend a little bit less time on the blah, blah, blah part. So that back in my day, everything was dismissed. That was really, really good. And everything was focused on the one minor thing that wasn't a big deal. So if we can get comfortable with that, that's a trigger. Another trigger for people can be in the workplace, if somebody is angry, or if somebody is angry with you, how does that make you feel? Like, does that make you feel fearful, uncomfortable, or can you just let it go? Can you assess it? Jamie's mad at me. Is it appropriate? No, I don't think so for these reasons. Well, I guess that's a Jamie thing. I'll see what happens. Can you let it go? Or is it something that is constantly eating at you? So what are the things that are going to be that trigger for you? Because then the next step is, with the awareness, what's the plan after that?
And what is the plan?
Well, I mean, the thing is, if I think of workplace or even friendships, sometimes if somebody does something that upsets us or hurts us, whatever it is, how can we move forward with that? And I think that's a really important thing for work, life, right? Because if I'm going to build a relationship with you, I think it's only fair to you and for our relationship to be like, hey, you probably didn't realize this, but when this thing happened, the story I'm telling myself is you don't value my friendship. Can you help me understand? So coming up with, if there's the verbs, the words you need to come up with, like what is your response going to be? Rather than automatically go, oh, I can't believe they did that. Well, forget her. I'm not inviting her to the office lunch. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
I know.
So what's your response going to be? And to get out of that emotional state, like after something happens, when you're feeling like you know, for everyone it's different. You feel like you're vibrating, you're so beside yourself. How do you get out of that? And for everybody that's different, but there's, you know, research looks at a few things. There's this energy. How do you get rid of that? For some people are like, I need some fresh air. Sometimes people are like, I gotta get outside for a couple of minutes. Or for some people, it's like, I'm gonna go in my office just for a few minutes and I'm going to listen to my favorite song. It's different for everybody. But what is it for you specifically that works? There's lots of research around actually breathing.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it does work because I've tried it. I didn't believe it, but it works. Where you need to breathe through it. And for some people, it's deep in and out, right? There's also something called box breathing that's really useful. And so, or sometimes people call it square breathing. So if you picture a box or a square, the idea is you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, and out, breathe in. And so you visualize that square. I would say that's not for everybody if you have like a heart condition or something like that. You know, and sometimes to know yourself, that the holding, that might make you feel anxiety. So know yourself, even if it's just in and out. Right?
Like taking a full deep breath.
And taking a few. Because my thing is like, I used to say this doesn't work because I didn't give it enough of a shot. Like breathing in and out for me twice didn't do anything. No, I need to do it for like 45 seconds. And then I just feel like, oh, all of that is gone now. And now I can be like, okay, what's the ultimate goal of this conversation I'm going to have with you? And how can I have it in a way to get the best results? And I'm not caught in that.
But then what happens if the person that you're confronting with is, you know, blah,
for
blah,
sure,
blah, blah.
For sure.
So, you know,
and so being aware of like paying attention to those cues,
right,
and being able to, like, if they're coming at you from that place, to be able to like know that's not them personally. Like they're just not able to access
that part of
all
their
of
brain,
that, right? And so to be able to know that, and cut them that slack and be like, I really want to give this conversation the time and to value it appropriately. Can we come back to this maybe later today, or what would work for you, you know? Like, and just to be able to diffuse it. Because if somebody's coming at you from this spot, you're not going to take them down magically. Like they need that time for it to go. So, but it can be really easy to get on that, like, you know,
butt heads,
right? And you're gonna go here, I'm gonna go here, and then you just, it doesn't help. Doesn't help.
Well, maybe the anti-stress.
Tea always helps.
Like if you smell it now and take a sip.
You know what it smells like to me? I smell celery. I smell celery and I smell mint.
Oh yeah, lots of mint. The mint probably will come up now.
It's beautiful.
I'm less stressed. I will use that on my husband now. Oh yes, Zen. Jaime and I are just two friends chatting on the couch, but if you want some personal and professional advice, go to theamaryllisproject.com.